Hi, everybody, and welcome to this informational session about an upcoming field trip to Germany and Italy. My name is Gary Graves. I'm a professor at Fullerton College, and I'm excited to announce our travel plans for one of the first field trips that I hope to be one of many. That's going to be happening from June 27th to July 11th in 2023. We will be visiting 2 countries, 3 cities over a 14-day period. So our first stop will be Germany, then to Italy. So we'll be headed to Munich, Venice, and Milan. And there's actually even an optional trip to Rome if you're so inclined. So if you're already sold, ready to go, you can click on the QR code, scan it with your phone, and that's going to take you either to the website for this trip where you can sign up, or on just the interest form where you can just let me know that you're interested, and if you have any questions, and that way we can also stay in contact about any updates about this trip that's coming up. This is one of the first times that we're traveling since the pandemic. The world, travel has started again, so it's a great time to get out, see the world. We're going during summer, so it's also weather-wise, it's a great time for us to travel to Europe. If you're thinking, why should I go abroad, right? Travel abroad is one of the unique things that you can do to see this world. I know that you all have Google and the internet, and you can look at things online to see other places, but experiencing it firsthand is truly one of the best ways for you to better understand how the world works. From global awareness to cultural diversity to problem solving, all of these skills are things that you can gain when you travel abroad. We're going abroad as a group, so that means we get a lot of shared knowledge as we get to experience things. You're all going to have certain things that you want to do while we're there, and you're going to have plenty of time to see everything that you want to see. In addition to the plan, of activities that we've got that we're setting out for you. But amazingly, not every college student goes abroad. Our college does offer a study abroad program, which is a semester-long program. This is a field trip, right? So it's 14 days. It's much less of a time commitment, much less in cost. And so it's one of those things that I hope that you'll consider adding to your resume. You can always go out and look at many study abroad statistics about, most students come back and say that their GPA improved, they had a better outlook on life, they had a better outlook on their career, they're able to gain higher salaries, and they were able to use it to their advantage, whether it's to apply for a job or to apply for a new college for transfer. So again, my name is Gary Graves. I'm a full-time professor of entrepreneurship and business at Fullerton College. I also teach art history, have an art history degree. And, I'm excited to go with you on this trip. These are some amazing cities for us to explore, but this is a course. So Business 106 is the name of the course. We will spend, the majority of time of us together is, we'll be working through, just cultural problems, business problems as we explore each of the cities. So this course is focused on entrepreneurship. And whether or not you want to be an entrepreneur or not, that's okay. I hope that you will come back from this trip with at least an entrepreneurial mindset, understanding that you have the ability to change your course of life. No matter how much money you want to make or what you want to do, I'm hoping that this trip will help you find a passion for something in business. In addition to just exploring the cultural aspects in art history, I was pretty lucky. My family loved to travel when I was young, and I got the travel bug pretty early. And so I've been around the world. I've seen a lot of cities, and it's exciting to go to a place that speaks other languages, has a unique background. America, we're a pretty young country, consider from the rest of the world, and the things that we grew up with, others, aren't experiencing. And so it's a great time for us to get out, explore the world, and see how others operate their business, live their lives, and experience art. But we're not traveling alone. We do have a travel partner. WorldStrides is the name of the company that we'll be partnered with. They're going to help us to make arrangements, to kind of coordinate things. They were founded in 1969, so they've been working with colleges and students on travel and study abroad programs for quite some time. Over 9 million students have studied with WorldStrides or have traveled abroad with WorldStrides. What I liked about them was that they will also provide us with an on-site guide, meaning that we'll have somebody with us who speaks the language. So if we have additional questions that come up, how to get around, what to do, we're going to have somebody who's going to be able to help us. But also what's nice about WorldStrides is that they have the protection that we need in place, right? So we have an app that we'll use, but if something happens to you, right, we'll have someone who we can talk to. So whether it's just I need to get to a doctor or I need to come home, we have ways to deal with all those things, as well as also if something were to happen in the world in terms that requires us to, to take the precautions that we need to protect you. So we have a company that we're working with for this. WorldStrides, again, I mentioned they have an app that's going to help us stay organized each day with what we're doing, keep us on track, where we need to be, when we need to be there. But, because we'll be taking tours in every city, we'll be visiting with companies as well. But again, you're going to have a lot of free time on your own as well to explore these cities. So you'll get an information packet, you'll have local area information, you'll have everything that you need in order to get around. But again, most of you will probably have a cell phone, you'll have internet access, and it will be very easy for you to get information on the fly. And if you decide to sign up, I've traveled a lot, and so there's lots of travel sources and resources that we can take advantage of, and so we'll introduce all those to you. So again, we're going with a credible company that's going to make sure that they have all of you first in mind, for your safety and your protection, to make sure that we're all doing it on the same page. You're also traveling as a group, right? Which means that we have a little bit of the buddy system to work with. So it's always about making new friends, and hopefully, we're going to have a great time together. So one of the first things I usually get questions I get asked is about housing. Where will we stay? In most cases, we'll stay in either a hostel or a hotel. So we're not staying in apartments or homes. That would be typically a study abroad trip. But again, this is a field trip. So we want to be able to get in and out fast. Every place that we stay will be in walking distance of a railway or train station or whatever way we need to get around. In most cases, we'll be able to walk to our destinations. All the rooms will have your linen and towels. You'll have a bathroom. You'll have, all the showers and things like that you need. In some cases, there may not be a kitchen, but in every case, right, breakfast will be served. You'll have internet access, and any other expenses that come up, will also be covered, right? So again, Munich, Venice, Milan, and again, there's that post-trip to Rome for a couple nights as well. So we've already kind of laid out some of the places that we'll be going, but again, until we know how many people are going, we won't be booking those until we know. But you can definitely look up all these places. So Wombat City Hostel in Munich, Generator Hotel and Hostel in Venice, Antares Concord Hotel in Milan, and again, the Noah Domus Hotel in Rome. So our journey starts at LAX, right? We take a very long air flight from Los Angeles to the Munich International Airport, and that's where our adventure begins. Once we're in Munich, we will start out with a city tour. So we'll walk around all the big highlights. So you'll get a quick overview. You'll probably find places that you want to go back to and visit, and that's great. We'll visit St. Peter's Church, the Munich residence. We'll see the Old Town Hall. They have some amazing architecture in Munich, and we're going to get to see it all. We'll also take a visit to the BMW Museum. The BMW, is a major automobile manufacturer. They've had a lot of innovation. They've had to really, do lots of planning, right, for the automotive industry, particularly even as we see things changing as we move from gas to electric cars. We're going to get to really take a look at the direction of the automobile industry. And hopefully, sit in one or two BMWs. The business company visit that we'll do, we'll be talking about innovation, entrepreneurship, as well as disruptive technologies. So how can you disrupt an industry? And you've all seen this in other industries, that have come in America, but with new technology usually comes disruption, right? So people who have been doing business the same old way, new technologies come about, and that kind of changes everything for everybody. And so we'll talk about how do we best utilize innovation, and how can we make things, how can we make change happen in an industry that we want to belong to? So you'll hopefully come home with some new ideas and new ways of doing business. Our next stop will be Venice. Venice is an amazing island city. So one of the first things that we're going to do is take that walking tour. We want to see everything that Venice has to offer. So you're going to get to also see St. Marco's Basilica, the bridges that they have. There's lots of bridges for us to walk over. There's the Dodge Palace. Hopefully you're going to get lots of amazing pictures, and Venice is probably be one of those cities that you're going to want to go back to. We'll also take a tour of Murano and Burano. Those are additional islands that are for glass blowing. Murano glass is some of the most cherished glass in the world. We're going to get to see some glass blowing happening, and this is probably a place where you're probably going to want to buy some souvenirs to bring back. Murano glass is some of the most amazing glass blowing, has some of the most amazing glass blowing artists in the world. And so it's going to be something just amazing for us to experience. An industry that's over 1,000 years old. This is the place where the French were trying to steal the secrets of glass blowing many, many years ago, right, before the French Revolution. So we'll get to experience that. In addition to some other cultural icons that we'll get to see, the Guggenheim Museum, the Gallery of Academia. Both of them offer art from the 19th and 20th century. So those will be great museums for us to visit. We'll have a talk on micro-lending, one of the big financial innovations that's happening in the world right now in many countries, not just Europe, but in Africa and other places, for people who want to start a small business. You're looking for funding. Micro-lending is peer-to-peer economy, is really happening. And so those are alternative ways for you to generate income to help you start your business, grow a business. And so we'll talk about how that's used in Europe, as well as some ideas you can bring back for yourself. We'll also be visiting with a business where we can talk about strategy. How does an international business create a strategy, to service the world, right? We've all seen the demands of supply chain and what happens. And so this will be an excellent opportunity for us to really hear firsthand how businesses have to plan for the right now, as well as the future. So I think you'll have a lot of fun talking about solutions. And again, it's another source of ideas that you'll be able to bring back. After Venice, we're going to head to Milan. Milan is right now the fashion capital of the world. We're going to figure out why is that. So we're going to get to visit, the city's fashion district. We're going to do some shopping. This is again another place for souvenirs and maybe even some clothes that you want to bring back. Milan is also another great place for us to experience wine tasting, as well as great foods from Italy. As far so again, I can't forget, we'll again another walking tour of the city. And we'll do that as early as we can, so that you can identify places that you may want to go visit on your free time. For the business challenge, we'll be meeting with companies, talking about digitization, talking about new technologies in manufacturing. You've probably all have heard of 3D printing, and there's new manufacturing techniques that are happening all the time. And so we're going to get to figure out, what are some of those things that we can bring back to America to help get our ideas created and started. We even have some of these tools on our campus. So we have 3D printing, we have tools, we have an excellent fashion department on our campus as well. And so you may discover new industries, new opportunities, and again, hopefully a little of entrepreneurship will creep in there as well. Lastly, if you're so inclined, if you want to spend just a couple more days in Italy, we'll be headed over to Rome. This is an optional side tour at the end of the field trip, where we will visit Rome. Again, we'll do another tour of Rome, walking tour to kind of see everything. We'll go visit the Causoleum. We'll see the Roman Forum. All of these is a step back into history, right? You'll be walking on the grounds that the early Romans walked on. As well as we'll take a tour of Vatican City. Vatican City has some of the most amazing artworks that have existed on our planet. You're going to get to see, the Sistine Chapel, as well as over 20,000 pieces of artwork, right? As we kind of explore the Vatican museums and take a look around. So those are our big excursions for this trip. You're probably wondering, how much is this going to cost you? And again, unfortunately, travel is on the rise since the pandemic because everyone's wanting to travel right now. So we're doing our best to keep the fees as low as possible. We're planning on at least 20 students going on this trip. So we're probably looking at around $3,000 per person. Plus airfare, which will range anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. Again, travel airfare is going up, but we might be able to, again, hopefully lower that. We'll be looking at finalizing the travel costs by January. There's also the post trip to Rome has additional cost, but one of the other expenses that's required is higher education travel protection, which is at $279 per person. So all of this includes your ground transportation, our trains that we'll be taking, your accommodations, at least breakfast every day, and one dinner as a group. We'll have a guide with us for everywhere we go, at least for the planned stuff. Any of your admission fees, the guidebooks that we give you, all those sorts of things will be included. There's also, from WorldStrides, they have embedded medical insurance. So if something should happen, you've got medical insurance on top of whatever you already may have. So, and then lastly, again, part of the fees here is that we've got that emergency support should we need it. Hopefully that will never happen, but again, that's one of the pieces that's covered throughout the fees. Some things that are not included in the expenses: tuition for the Business 106 course, right? It's a 1-unit course. There are no textbooks or other fees associated with that. You're probably also going to have some other expenses. You might have to get a passport. A passport right now, I believe, is about $180. And again, that may take 6 to 8 weeks. You may have some additional departure taxes, but we won't know those until we're there. So, you may have some minor expenses, once we are there as well. Your meals, again, breakfast included, one group dinner, but your lunch and dinner, will be on your own. And so you'll have plenty of places to choose from when we are traveling around. And again, that optional excursion to Rome will be there. And if there's anything else that you want to do, and again, I'm hoping that you do a little research before we go. If there's something particular that you're looking for, I can help you find it, or WorldStrides will. But again, there may be things that are outside of the itinerary, and again, you have plenty of time to also explore these cities on your own. The optional excursion to Rome is $895 per person. So as long as we get at least 10 people that want to go, we'll be taking the train from Milan to Rome. We're going to have that walking tour, and we're just really going. That's really just to go and be the tourist, for a couple of days, looking at as many things as we can. Some other things that we'd love to plan, but again, it's who's interested in doing it. So we can put together a bike tour. We could put together a food tour. I love food tours because you don't just get to eat at one place; you get to eat at multiple places and then figure out what you like. And then, a cooking class. It would be great for us to cook as a group, learn some Italian cooking that we can bring back and share with our families. If you don't already have a passport, that's definitely one of the first things that you want to look at. If you just Google, apply for a U.S. passport, you'll get the link to the government site so you can see the paperwork that's needed for that. In most cases, you can buy a passport photo from CVS, or even a lot of your local library may also be able to give you a passport photo that you'll have to use. You should be 18 by the time we leave in order to qualify for this trip. And ideally, you have done some classes with us already, have a GPA of 2.5. But if there's a circumstance that you don't think you're meeting one of these requirements, talk to me. Let's talk about it, and so we can make the best decision for you. You may be, if you're thinking about how are you going to fund this, financial aid is one option. I really hate for anyone to go in debt over educational travel. So there are lots of other ways for you to fund this trip. Whether it's getting a additional job that's going to pay for this, having garage sales, cutting down on some of the things that are maybe are costing you lots of money now. We can also help you set up a GoFundMe page for crowdfunding where you can ask for money from strangers or your family and friends, right, to help fund this. A lot of times families want to see you expand your education, expand your horizons and what you're seeing. And so that may be an option as well. There are scholarships, and again, if we start early enough, we can begin applying for scholarships that'll help you fund this. And then what I'm also putting together are fundraising teams. So if you want help fundraising, right, you'll join our fundraising team, and we will all work together to find scholarships, grants, company sponsorships, anything that's going to help reduce that financial burden. We can host fundraising events and activities. And so it'll be exciting for us to kind of come together and generate the money that we need in order to pay for this trip. I also do teach a class, Business 186, Funding Special Projects and New Ventures. This is a course where I show you all the steps you need to take it from, asking for money to identifying, where to get money, all those sorts of things. So it may be too late to take this class for this particular trip, but if you're thinking about a full semester study abroad, this is a great course to get you started. When we look at scholarships, like Hornet Scholars is our foundation for our college, and so you can apply for scholarships there. We've got studyabroad.com. You've got the California Community College for International Education. We've got study abroad funding, student scholarships, internationalscholarships.com. All of these are great places to start for when you're looking for that money, but it does take planning. It does take time to get these things processed. But I also have lists of scholarships that are also available. So again, if we work together as a group to raise money, this will make it very easy for you to start raising funds. I also have a funding travel workbook that I can share with you as well. So that's pretty much it. I'm excited that we've got 3, maybe 4 amazing cities that's really going to be our textbook, all right, for discovering entrepreneurship, for discovering culture, for discovering art history. So if you're ready, you can use your phone. You can scan these 1 or 2 of these QR codes. The first one is an interest form. That's just a quick little form that you can fill out that lets me know you're interested. I will keep you in the loop of what we're doing when we're getting together to start raising money, all those sorts of things. There's also a link to the website and application, which will come live as soon. The final deadline for this trip is March 17th. But again, if you're going to need to do fundraising for it, you're going to need to start earlier than that. So I encourage you to let me know as soon as possible that you're interested, you want to go on this trip, so that we can start making the plans and securing the funding to take you. Again, my name is Gary Graves. This is the Fullerton College Business City Field Trips course. Hopefully we're going to do this every summer, but I look forward to hearing what you think about this trip, what you'd most like to see. And you can contact me via my email address, my phone number. You can always text me. But again, I'm connected also on most social media platforms, so LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as my staff page. You can find me. So I look forward to talking to you. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. And again, if there's any questions that I can answer, please reach out to me. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.